Hey guys, it's Matt. Expected to have a, a quiet Monday evening, a few beers, just mindless entertainment, not analyzing movies for truth, and just did I expect there could be some truth in the Squid Game? Yeah, but I thought let's just watch this dumb Squid Game. The buzz all over the internet, the number one Netflix show in like 20 countries, and I was like, oh my God, what the heck am I watching? Now, guys, I need to, if you haven't seen it, I need to talk about this, but I'm going to talk about certain scenes and character interaction, but I won't give away the ending. Major kind of, plot twist at the end. And if you like kind of surprises, you might like this, but I will not in any way give away the last episode of the ending. It's a 9-part series on Netflix, but I do need to talk about many of the scenes if you haven't seen it. I'll do it in such a way that I don't think I'll ruin it for you at all. So I'll just do the best that I can. This isn't going to be for half of this audience. I mean, it's sick. It's sick. It's a what's the best description of the Squid Game, or just Squid Game? It's not Silence of the Lambs. It's the Silence of the Lambs. It's an Asian Hunger Games on steroids times 1,000. If the Hunger Games wasn't bloody enough for you and dramatic enough for you, oh, they've upped the ante here. I've got to talk about it, guys, but again, I don't think I will not say anything about the ending. I don't think I'll ruin it for you, but how am I supposed to do this without talking about it? So, just for those that have no idea what this is, let me do 2 minutes and then get into some of the notes I took and some of the things I want to talk about. Okay. Squid Game takes place outside, I guess, Seoul, Korea. What's the best way to actually talk about it is to go over here where they're pondering a season 2. I don't see how that's possible based on what I described what's going on here, but the best way to describe what this is all about is this image here. Basically, in 2 minutes or less, everybody that's in this room here in the green jumpsuit in the concentration camp of some kind has all sorts of financial problems, and some of these people are millions and millions of won, Korean won, or millions of dollars in debt, and they don't know what they're getting into. Take a chance, win fabulous prizes, participate in the Squid Game, and they don't realize the stakes they're signing up for. They don't read the terms and conditions. They just click, I'm not a robot, not really, but they just go through the motions as we all do with the terms and conditions, a little bit of a truth drop there. And they find that these games are quite simple, but if you don't win or you don't follow the directions exactly, the consequences are beyond brutal. Now, for anybody, this is just disturbing for many people in our circles, trying to spiritually advance ourselves and separate from the disgusting nature of what this world throws at us. This is complete violence, debauchery, and it is not. Most people will be in this community will be very turned off by it. If you want to get a sense if you have Netflix and want to get a sense as to what this is all about, I can recommend a way of doing it in 15 or 20 minutes or less. Simply load up episode 1 and fast forward through the first 20 or 25 minutes. They try to build a character. You'll see he lives in a little tiny apartment with his mother. As you're watching on fast forward, you'll get a sense as to what's happening. He goes to the racetrack, loses. Everybody's in a financial bind. Then you'll see the scene where they have them all together for the first time in the jumpsuits, and these minions in pink come out with their machine guns. Then watch from there through the first game, which is red light, green light, and you'll get a sense as to what this is all about. And you'll go, what the heck? And your jaw will drop. I'm not recommending it. It's sick, guys. The most childlike games, and the consequence for not playing the childlike game perfectly is, oh, you know what? this type of action. Um, I don't know. Hundreds of them get killed off in the first. I don't want to. I'm not saying it too much more. Just that's the way to watch it, guys. If you just want to be curious and you're really not interested in watching 9 episodes, and I started to fast forward a bit, and I just wanted to see what it was all about. And even I didn't get through it, of course, in one day. I watched a few spoiler YouTube videos to see how it wrapped up. I'm not interested in going back. I guess I got through about 4 or 5 of them, and I was fast forwarding a bit too, just to see what the heck and how this thing was going to play out. So there are, in general, is there gigantic truth drops? Is this on the level of Stanley Kubrick's 2001 A Space Odyssey? No. But, there's something that achieves this much fame this quickly. There is going to be some truth that flows through, quote, art. I wouldn't call this art, but, whether we've talked about many times whether the artist is aware of it or not, the reality operates in such a way that truth always wants to poke through art like this or use art like this as an opportunity to deliver truth. To me, and I'm not going to spend hours and hours analyzing, it's just not worth it. If I miss a few truth drops, I don't care. I'll find them in other places. And what do we need the truth drops for at this point anyway? When our understanding is it's a half a page, and the complex becomes simple once we're at a half a page. Why do we want to analyze movies? But anyway, what I think this is for is on a much more basic level, from a not nilk system level. It's just another constant habituation with people watching that there is an authority class, and then there's the regular people. And you follow the rules, or what plays on the subconscious or the unconscious here. Very simple game to start. Red light, green light. When the gigantic killer robot, here you go, says stop, you better stop perfectly, or some sniper rifle's going to come out. And so very simple games, first grader games, kindergartner games, and the message is, play the simple game, but play it exactly as authority tells you, and do not go outside the bounds. Don't even shake, or you're going to be taken out, literally or figuratively. I think the purpose of Squid Game, and again, without potentially the creators even being aware of it, and in this case, somebody's yelling at me, Matt, these dark creators are aware of it. Okay, I'll give you that. But sometimes they're not. It just, the reality works through its minions. And there's a message that gets into the people's subconscious, unconscious of who watch this. And it's just to strengthen that there's a difference between authority and the faceless authority. Who do you complain to when you complain to a giant government? Or even people that aren't into conspiracy now sense that, well, there's your mayor, but he's not in charge of anything. Or here's your governor. They're starting to get a sense that they're not in charge of anything, whether they believe in the dark puppet masters or not. So to me, it's the goal here. And again, I'm probably missing. I'm not going to analyze it anymore. I'm not going. After this video's over, I'm done with the Squid. I'm done with the Squid Game for the rest of my life. Season 2. They can bring a season. I don't know how they could do that. I mean, everybody's been killed off. But it doesn't matter. I'm done with this. I'm done with this guy here. So anyway, so guys, let's dive into some of the points or some of the notes that I took down. One thing that was interesting, I don't know if there's any pictures that are going to. Here's an interesting picture. This is the second. Well, let me tell you a little bit about the games that they have to participate in. The first one is red light, green light. The killer robotic doll with the sniper rifles. When it says stop, you better say stop. It better stop. But then the second game is they pick a shape, and there's like I don't know what they call it. Some of the subtitles go very, very quickly. It's like if they're gonna push this to the top of the world in terms of popularity, you're not gonna some of the subtitles come on and off in like a half a second. It's really annoying. Like you're not gonna get that right. Almost like they just let an automated bot do it and didn't clean it up. When it's gonna be the biggest thing in the whole world in the last month or so. It does whatever. The second game, they get some sort of they pick a shape, and then they get a cookie with the shape, and they have to use a little needle to carve out the shape, and without breaking it. So they can break pieces of the cookie off, but if you just break pieces of the cookie off without scoring it properly, the way you would score cement board or Hardy-Backer board or whatever. So those with the complex shapes, you break off the bottom of your umbrella. So one of these guys in pink comes over and shoots you in the back of the head. So this is the second game. The third game is Tug of War. And even if you're not interested in this series, totally turns you off, if you could find the beginning of the Tug of War, the old man, the instructions they give on the Tug of War, how to win the Tug of War. Zara and Puss are having a fight right in front of the computer. Now they've run out. I'm sorry. Highly professional here. If you could find the Tug of War where they're sitting up on a platform, it's really, the filming of it, the drama it creates is pretty, it's pretty well done. It's the height of dramatic movie making, the Tug of War scene. So if you're not interested in this, and most people listening, probably won't be, if you want to find, in addition to watching that first 20-some minutes, how I recommended you watch the first episode, find the Tug of War in the second or third episode and watch how that goes down with the old man giving the instructions on how to win. And of course they're outmatched because it's all men on the other team, and they have an old man, and they have several women that are very small Korean women, not even 90 to 95 pounds. How are we going to win? They think they're going to be pulled down to their death. And the old man gives instructions. He's like, listen up. Here's how we win. It's very, very well done and filmed. You couldn't possibly make a Tug of War scene more dramatic. And from a filmmaking standpoint, it was impressive to watch. So check that out. But again, I don't recommend any other part of it. Let me pause here, organize my thoughts here, and come back for the exciting conclusion of part 2 of Squid Game. Okay, I had a note about this. Those here in pink that assist, let me go to this. Here we go. They have, this is, whether it was intended to be or not, a very interesting representation of what I call, or what we analyze as, the minion class. They wear different outfits, of course. They look different. They look menacing. They are ranked by the shape on their face or mask here. So I think the circles are the lowest rank. The triangles are like the enforcers, or the higher up usually have the weapons. And then I believe it's the square that has, the square on the face or the mask has the highest authority. And it's very interesting how they portray the minion class here. One thing I noticed is there appears to be as many minions, and they don't talk a few times, but for the most part, they don't talk. And one of the rules is they're not allowed to talk to each other. But in many scenes, there appears to be as many minions as there are players. So, again, I'm not going to push my roulette chips that something major league is being said here from a truth drop perspective. Let's just not go here. It's not worth it. It really isn't. But just some interesting observations. So when a player in the green jumpsuit is being, taken into a position, sometimes there's one minion for each player. So, how many? Is anything being said here? Probably not, but we'll just have fun speculating. Are there as many minions in this world as there are real players? And could a minion, of course, not just this high-level Melvin P. Gates level minion, but like somebody that just serves the system as somebody that has given themselves away, no soul tokens, an NPC. There are, and we speculate, that there are many less, very, very few real players than minions, but they certainly couldn't make Squid Game where there's 100 times people in pink jumpsuits with guns as there are players. It wouldn't work from a TV show perspective. So the minions, the other thing that's very interesting is they don't have a great life at all here. You think if you're going to help participate in this Hunger Games on steroids, and obviously it's on a secretive island and nobody can know what's going on. It's very sick and dark and demented. Then these minions must be getting something big out of it, right? And they just show them at night. They show them going off to there's like a little tiny room. They're giving little tiny tiny little cramped quarters with a little tiny silver toilet at one side, a little tiny bed where you can't even stretch your feet out. And I mean, Andy Dufresne's prison in Shawshank is basically a Four Seasons hotel compared to where these assisting minions in the pink jumpsuits. Well, maybe not a Four Seasons or a Ritz, maybe a DoubleTree if they still exist, but they're not getting anything. So I thought, again, not that there's a message being said and everything here, but just for fun, guys, I thought, what hit me, maybe there was no intention at all, probably not for me to get hit with any of these ideas, but I thought, these minions, most of these minions, they give themselves away and they serve the system, they serve it. They're not even getting anything. Not that, we talked about somebody could knock on your door and offer $1 billion, and most of us aren't going to take it. Just like, that'll just more money, more problems, just go away. But the minions, at least like, you think they're getting something. They're not getting anything, half these minions. So it just was interesting. I thought, what are these guys doing? They're, this player gets out of line by 2 inches, and this guy turns around and, shoots him in the back of the head. Well, what's he getting? He said, well, Matt, they may be promised a lot of money at the end of the Squid Game, maybe, but they don't say anything about that. And the impression I got was like, they're not getting anything. These people just are really pathetic. I think that I found, I was going over the stuff, that she's a famous model and Korea plays in this. I don't know, but I came across that. She's a pretty prominent character. The main character is this guy in front, kind of a clown character, little over the top in his acting, and I don't know, kind of make him out to be kind of a hopeless kind of clown in the beginning, but then I guess his character gets more serious as the shows go on. Found this, that of course, if you want to propagate Squid Game outside of Netflix, well, build some sort of Squid Game app into popular video games. Like, I don't know these video games at all, guys. Like, I would say like Minecraft. I don't even know what that is. But any surprise, these, I don't know what to call them, like modules, I guess, are built onto other games and apps. And
para que arranque, vamos a subir un poquito el sonido. Con la skin
this.
y todo, chicos.
Squid Game scenarios.
En ese círculo para arrancar la partida.
It's like a Lego game or something. I don't know what this is. It says in Roblox, ROBLOX, whatever the heck that is.
Mucha gente jugando. Quiero decirles que
Okay, this is the red light, green light. I'll just show you how when the thing says stop, you better stop. Let's watch this for a minute.
No, estoy re último, men. No, lo mataron. Vamos. Ay, creo que me moví. No, me moví. No te la puedo creer, me moví.
The guy sounds like the beginning of White Chicks. Anyway, sorry. Ay, papi, cuando la mera.
Mira el tiro que me dieron, loco. Mira el tiro que me... Es igual a la serie, men. Vamos a intentarlo de nuevo. Recuerden el like, chicos, por si quieren que...
All right. Here's one. Look at this guy. Matt, that ain't no difference than the way you look when you give your dumb videos.
Here is the game. It's gonna start really soon. I gotta get on a line. I'm so scared right now. Oh my gosh, there's too many people. There's too many people. There's too many people. There's too many people. Move.
I don't know. What is this? Oh, yeah. I was going to say, I didn't even look at the subscribers. You come across these absurd channels, and it's just some nobody talking about video games. There's like millions of subscribers, 1.8 million subscribers. Matt, this guy, you don't give yourself, this guy's probably giving better presentations than you are.
All right, here we are. This is
Probably is, but the subject matter's slightly less important. Maybe it's not.
so scary.
Maybe we're the ones that's fooled and these people have life figured out. It's possible.
Oh my gosh. All right, so there's the doll. 5 minutes to get across. As soon as... Wait, do I have volume on? I'm scared. I'm just going to stay here. That's red light. That's red light. You cannot move when they say red light, or you're dead. See that?
Yeah. I tell you one thing, the environment in this Squid Game, they bring them out into this courtyard where the sun is above, yet they have, just like this, they have painted environment. The environments are very interesting, just from I don't know, the imagination of the creator reflected through the final output of the cinematography. It's pretty interesting, the environment they create. And I keep kind of praising this thing, guys. I don't want to. It's sick. It's dark. The message that's supposed to get into those on the frequency, like they're already on the frequency. Why does the dark message even need to get into those in the frequency? It's dark. It really is. Who knows? Squid Game knockoffs are blowing up on Roblox. Yeah, of course. They can take the message to hundreds of millions more people through video game mods. I mean, look at this shit. Squid Game t-shirt. Get your Squid Game t-shirts here. Squid Game t-shirts. 1 for 10, 2 for 15. Show off your Squid Game pride. Wear it with pride. Look at this one. This one's even, you can have real minions on your chest. Oh my goodness. No, there's no attempt to funnel Squid Game out into mass culture with video game apps and t-shirts and nah, no message being sent here into the collective subconscious. I'm going to talk about the vote. I'm going to talk about the vote, and I'm not going to talk about the ending for anybody that wants to watch it. It's pretty interesting at the end. But again, I just saw some YouTube videos. I'm not even going to bother watching it myself. I just saw, some spoiler YouTubes before I made this video. So I want to talk about the vote because it relates to a big issue we have to address pretty soon about karma. And there's a lot of smart people in our community here, real smart, that believe that, bank your karma, soul tokens, giving pieces of yourself away, gaining soul tokens, banking your karma, all that. And I'm telling you, on the opposite side, there's a lot of smart people. Maybe not as many, and one in particular, but there are others that make a very compelling argument on the other side that, a certain individual would come to me, for example, and say, Matt, if an entire reality is structured and is designed to get you to bring yourself back here in terms of some sort of reincarnation, samsara, what would the first thing the person that designed a reality in order to, if you deciding to bring yourself back here, what would it do? It would base everything about karma, and it would get everybody to believe they have unresolved issues, so you come back here. Although on the other side, because the other side, somebody may be screaming and say, well, Matt, if you believe you've resolved the issues and you're then banking good karma, then you're assisting yourself out. Okay, but even those that really have an understanding of that or the proper mindset, how many people, we are in this avatar, we're told our whole life born sinners and all that. How many people really believe are going to go to their death knowing they've just resolved everything? Is that, they just know they've cleared up everything, resolved everything. We still are always going to have major limitations. We're in this avatar, we're in this body. And you think for just one bit that, I'm not sure I resolved this one thing with Dad. A reality system designed to try to bring you back could use karma. These people would say the idea is to see that the karma potentially is a gigantic trick of this reality itself. So we'll talk about have that less filling taste great debate sometime later. But let's just go with the karma for now. There's a lot, and most of when we analyze the minions and how they operate, they do seem to be operating that, someone might say at least they believe karma exists, because they'll take a big bite of the you-know-what sandwich, take a big, giant, greasy bite, and then what they do, for those that care to pay attention, they give back information, things that we notice most people won't. They'll give truth back. They'll lay down an inflated tire. They always seem like they have to give something back, and in a kind of a pathetic way to a lot of us, it does seem like, they're just trying to get rid of their karma load. Okay, there's something to be said there. There's both sides to this issue, but let's just analyze this. And, we are talking Squid Game here. Look at this. So regarding this vote that generally relates to our future karma conversation, after the horror of the first game, and these people in the green jumpsuits realize what the heck they've gotten involved in, many start throwing, when the minions approach them again in their little holding, it's like they're held up in a high school gym, kind of with bunks in a high school. It's like the feel of a big high school gym, the way Wormser and the nerds were put in the high school gym after the Omegas torched Omegas torched their own house in Revenge of the Nerds, and they just moved into the nerd dormitories, and the nerds had to move into the gym. It's a similar feel of Booger in the gym, where the minions come in, and after they see the horror of the first game, they didn't, one of the truth drops here, they just signed their life away. They didn't think about the consequences, probably clicked on "I'm not a robot," just signed away. Although one guy, it's like a mini truth drop, read the fine print, and he says, if the majority of us want out, clause 3, whatever, says we can go out. And the minion's like, it doesn't really sound like this, it's Korean, but he says, yeah, y'all right. Y'all vote to get out, y'all can leave. It's Korean, it don't sound like that, but it's basically, that's what it said. Y'all can vote to get out, and like, we can vote? And everyone's like, initially, like, we're saved. We can vote. Well, considering the horror we just experienced, the horror we just experienced 20 minutes ago, who's not going to vote to get out? Well, obviously, we're all going to go home. Well, they line up to vote, and then the minions like, oh boy, some lightning here. I hope I can continue to record. Sorry, guys, for being distracted. One of the minions is like, well, look up above. There's a piggy bank up there, and see that money? They're dropping like wads of $100 bill won, Korean won, into this piggy bank. Like millions and millions of dollars are dropping into this see-through piggy bank. And then you can just see the look in people's eyes like, whoa, maybe they're all down on their luck. They all owe lots of money. They all have creditors coming after. Everybody's life is ruined. And you could see some of them are like, well, even though that literally 20 minutes before they just saw half their, quote, graduating class get slaughtered, which to me that would never happen. 20 minutes after that, they're all going to vote to get the heck out of there. But, there's a little message about human nature as the money and the piles of Juan Benjamins just drop down, and they're like, well, some of these people are going to vote to stay in. And then it's close, like they each approach. It's like my Staples easy button. They pick the stay in or go, and it's like even. The vote is even. Half want to actually stay after they just saw the horror of what they just experienced, because they're so desperate, and also the love of money. So I will give this away because it happens pretty quickly. It just barely voted. They just barely vote to disband the game. And the minions, they play by the rules. And the minions here, okay, you voted to disband the game. We'll take you home. And they're like, you will? But if, a certain number of you want to come back, we will start the game again. And if we do restart the game, then that's it. So, of course, to make a long story short, and, this is a part you might want to fast forward through if you watch this, they all go back to their regular lives. And their regular lives is like a slow, drawn-out hell. So it's like this hell, which is slow and drawn out, can't even get enough money to buy food, creditors, and most of them are like, this is a slow hell. I'd rather go face the fast hell back in the Squid Game, and at least a week from now have a chance to be out of this mess, or a multi millionaire. So of course, there wouldn't be a Squid Game episode 3 if they didn't want to get back in. And the guy's like, this is hell out here in life. I don't care what the horror was. I went back in. I want a chance to change my circumstances. And there's a big karma, message, I think, that, hey, nobody's forcing anybody. Two times the karma message of the Minions is nobody's forcing anybody to play this game. You came free will the first time. You signed all the fine print was here. You signed it away. You came in. Then we gave you a chance to leave. You left. Then you came back again. So the message is, hey, whatever happens, happens. We from the Minions' perspective, the perspective of these guys, it's all on the green jumpsuit people. They gave them 2 chances to leave, and they still came back. These people, from a karma perspective, are probably very satisfied, and there is a big message in that regard being sent here. But we'll have the karma less filling tastes great debate pretty soon, maybe in less than a week. Okay, this part is not stuff we normally talk about, but this hit me. I found this fascinating, and it relates to like the evil genius of those that put this Squid Game together. Guys, when something is this big, and it's the top show in 30 countries, and there's video game apps, and it's just blowing up all over the place, and it's this dark, like a Hunger Game on steroids, like I don't know. I don't like to use the word genius because it's like praising, but it's like evil genius. It's just evil genius. And when you watch it, you have to expect, well, how would an evil genius operate? And what are the messages embedded inside messages? And this isn't any major truth drop, but one thing that hit me was in all of the characters that 400 and some sign up to play this Squid Game, and they are all in financial difficulty, and they all come in with their green jumpsuits. There's just one guy, and he has a dragon or snake tattoos all over, and it's curious, but he's like, if it was Japan, he'd be Yakuza, or he has gang connections, and he's a little bit bigger, he's stronger, but he's not the guy from, what was the movie Bloodsport? That guy was intimidating. Whatever, the Chinese kung fu master with the gigantic muscles who was breaking people's necks in Bloodsport. I mean, that guy, this guy is, let me just get to the point. I don't know how to deliver this. He's just wimpy enough. See, he's a big, bad dude compared to all the other wimps like this guy. They're all wimps. And well, there's some that look a little tough, but they're usually a little older. Or this guy is somewhat tough, but he is a stockbroker, and it's just a gigantic. It's literally the Revenge of the Nerds gym, and you have this one guy. But see, it's evil genius the way they do it. Like most men, or a lot of men watching this, and I had the same tendency. You'd be like, well. It involves you emotionally in this way, because some of the stuff this guy and his gang do inside the Wormser gym is pretty violent, pretty brutal. They try to kill people in the middle of the night. You think, okay, I would take this guy down, and it's evil genius the way they do it, because it gets you emotionally involved in the storyline. He's kind of a badass compared to the others there, but he's just to a lot of, I don't know, we'll just say American men watching, or Australian men or whatever. He's a wimp. Like this guy's no badass. You just, if you want to be in the gym to protect these wimps like this, you say, I could take this guy out myself. So this is all by design, in my opinion. How a lot of people watching go, this guy's a badass, but even if it's subconscious, a lot of people watching, this guy ain't that tough, and I wish I was there to take this guy down and to protect the wimps. It was a wimp and a blimp. it's not. It's to me, it's totally by design. It's not the guy from, let's just show this guy here. How do you type that in? Of course he's going to come up. This dude. I mean, he's breaking necks. He's, I mean, yeah, trust me, if they put that guy into the Squid Game, most American men or Australian men or, you're whatever. I don't know what I'm not. This isn't coming out exactly right. But you wouldn't be like, I wish I was there to get involved. No, you'd be like, I'm glad I'm sitting on my damn couch. If that's the guy, so, and they make the guy actually look a little bit like him, but not quite. Matt, that's just completely inappropriate and stereotypical. Okay, but it involves you because you're like, I could take this guy myself. And it's all by design. Do not ever underestimate even the tiniest layers embedded upon layers as to how they do business to get your involvement. Now, if my friend Pam was watching this, she's a 5'2" small little girl. She wouldn't think that way. But I bet there's other things with the female characters that would involve her in the same way. So anyway, interesting stuff. Last segment on Squid Game and relates to the message that they present about human nature, and it does relate to this thug character again. The third game is them killing themselves, and the minions rig it up so after a gigantic trial for their lives, they're given like one egg and a bottle of water. Before they're well fed and, they're treated very well, except when the games are going on. And the thug, of course, cuts back in line with his other little mini thugs, his little gang he's got together, and they take some eggs, and some people approach for their egg, and they're like, the minion's like, there's no more left. We allocated one per contestant. If there's no more, there's no more. So then, what's going to happen. Some of the wimps. The rest of the crew is like this, like just wimpy people, and it's all by design to highlight, this guy. And I didn't know this picture, but see this guy, he's a wimp. That's the guy. That's the badass actor. That's exactly proves the point where they're trying to get a guy that's not real tough. So men get invested. So anyway, of course they've just gone through 2 games where they've seen half of their comrades slaughtered, and they approach the thug and, why did you steal from us? And of course he beats somebody to death, and then they try to appeal to the minions, try to appeal to them. Somebody down here just beat someone to death. What are you going to do about it? And they realize this is the third game where all of the darker side of the people in the jumpsuits comes forth and says, well, wait a second, this game is won by most of everyone else dying off, and the more people that die, more of that money pool that hangs in the piggy bank on the ceiling becomes mine. We'll just kill. The minions aren't doing. If we kill each other, the minions aren't intervening. They're not getting involved. So anybody here that has a dark streak now is plotting. They're going to kill their fellow people in the bunks here as they sleep. And it's just an interesting statement about human nature, and as is the Hunger Games and things like that. But it is true. I mean, you would have people thinking, okay, well, these people are going to die anyway in these games. We're allowed to kill them off. We'll kill them off. And then you'd have good people like the lead character that gets his group of wormsers and boogers. And what are some of the other character names? Lamar, Revenge of the Nerds, Petitioning Lambda, Lambda. What is it? E.A. Jefferson says, I want to be honest with you, nerds. You don't have a good chance of getting in. Well, I shouldn't say that. He says, we want to be honest with you. You don't have a good chance of getting in. Well, why is that? Lewis, I guess his name is Lewis and Gilbert. Why is that, E.A.? Because you're nerds. Sorry. Movies that couldn't be made today. Movies that could not be made today. We'll do a whole show on that. So human nature. I mean, the dark streak would pop. Oh, we can kill off our fellow contestants in the middle of the night, because the other thing that just runs through this show is follow the rules. These minions will lay down the rules exactly, and if you follow them, starting with that red light, green light, you can win. If you stray outside the rules, it's all about rules. This show. Or there were games inside the show. Or Jeffrey's games trying to get out. It's all about the rules, even amongst the minions. One minion's like, you were told not to talk unless spoken to. So even the people in the pink jumpsuits don't talk. And as soon as they find out the darker element here, they find out that if they kill their other fellow contestants, that nobody's going to intervene. They can do that. Well, the thugs and the bad people get that idea, and then people like this are kind of left not wanting to go to sleep at night. And, there's these other wimps will come to the rescue. And then you have like really obnoxious, grating other people inside that just like backstabbing people like this woman. Anyway, I guess that's about it, guys. Half of you will like it. It really won't appeal at all to the other half, and it's in many ways it's sick, and it should absolutely something that should not be shown to young people. And of course, I'm sure everybody age 7 and up is watching. 7 up, what I said, 7 or 10 years old and up is watching the Squid Game, and it's really unfortunate. Well, Matt, you're I'm inside of a truth. Matt, you're promoting. And I'm not. I mean, everybody here never heard of the Squid Game. And who am I talking to here? This isn't a channel for kids. It's there's a certain group of people here that, in order to strengthen our armor, we have to be aware of everything that they're trying to implant through their art, movies, and media. Thanks, guys. I'll see you soon.